In hindsight, do I actually think he just didn't want to commit? All the signs would lead you to believe that. It's the commitment that he's scared of. And whilst that isn't untrue, I want to talk about why I couldn't see that, or why I thought differently at the time. So before we had children, we had been together for 8 years. He's from a different part of the country that I am, and we had met. We actually were both living in Cardiff when we met. And we lived there together for a couple of years. We then moved down to the southeast where I'm from. I think by that point we'd been together about 3 years, maybe 2.5. So it wasn't even like a new relationship when we moved down south. And that move really instigated, okay, this is quite serious. We're going to not really be settling down, because we still moved into a flat in Kemp Town. But I guess it was more for him to start being a bit more serious and not going out and just getting absolutely blind drunk multiple times a week, get a stable job, etc. It was also the transition for me not being self-employed anymore. I still was probably for the first year, and then I did transition into not being self-employed. It was a big shift. We had talked about that before we did it, and then we were doing it. We then started saving for a house and all of that. So everything we had talked about, the future that we were building, which is why I was resistant to believe that he didn't want it, because it was actively talked about and planned. You can't just buy a house with someone without it being really quite serious. And I've mentioned before that we talked about our wedding a lot. That never came to be. How it felt to me, without projecting someone else's feelings or thoughts and them not speaking for themselves, it felt to me as if he liked the benefit of being committed to me because I'm a good team player. So I was really supportive, helpful, loving, caring towards him, his hobbies, his career goals, career changes, all of those things. I think that benefited him and us. Then when it came to the responsibility that he would have to do the same back when we had a child, and then I was vulnerable and I couldn't be the one sorting everything out all the time because my focus was shifted to the newborn baby that I had just grown and delivered, that's where it became a problem. I don't think it was a lack of commitment to me. I think it was the additional responsibility of being a grown-up, having a job, having to go to the job when you're tired, having to learn something new at the job, be a fish out of water, rise to the challenge, pay the bills, possibly not go on that 4th golf trip that's been planned. All of those things, that was the struggle. I have a feeling, or in fact I know, that I don't know the full story. I thought I knew him, actually perhaps I didn't. So I'm sure there are lots of other things that I thought, oh, he would never do that, and actually it turns out he did. But at this point, I don't want to know what that is. That is not my burden to carry. I did my time, you can carry that forever.